It's after the couple of resolutions. It's on the proclamation. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Today is March the 7th. The time is 9 o'clock. The Board of Commissioners is in session to conduct our weekly open business meeting. All three commissioners are present. We have a number of guests in the audience, so we won't go through all those. But anyway, are there changes to the agenda?
No, they're not.
No changes to the agenda. The county department heads had an off-site conference this past Friday. The board joined them for lunch. The lunch meeting was not posted. To avoid any misconception, we wanted to cure the appearance of any open meeting violation that may have resulted in the failure to post the luncheon. The board had a very informal discussion with the department heads regarding the upcoming FY24 budget process. We advised that we wanted them to avoid requesting new positions unless absolutely necessary, and that we would be reviewing all vacant positions countywide. So that's what was discussed during our lunch, and that was at their request. Anyway, we will now take up unfinished business. I'll take a motion to remove unfinished business from the table.
Mr. Chairman, I move to remove the unfinished business from the table for consideration.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So what we have before us now is application number 202-201-404A, Pasculi, Johnson, Stone, Friends of Eagle, Attenberg, Brown, etc. Multiple appeals and so forth. We had a public hearing on this application on the 7th of March, and we deferred until today to make a decision. The public hearing was closed, and so the discussion is amongst the board. Is there any discussion on the board, amongst the board?
Well, Mr. Chair, I can kick it off.
Okay.
We did have a lengthy hearing on the topic. One issue that came up during the hearing was that the Pasculi's property may not meet the definition of a winery under our ordinance because they do not process grapes. Our ordinance defines a winery as a facility that processes grapes. And based on the testimony we heard, it didn't sound like any processing of grapes was going on at the facility. This is something that we reviewed with our legal team, and the application for having the outdoor tasting room seemed to be in conflict with that ordinance, because the ordinance says only a tasting room has to be had at a winery. And what it appeared from at least my reading the code, and other people brought up, that it did not meet the definition. And that is kind of, I think, where some of the difficulty lies in this decision. And I'll toss it back to you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Is there any other discussion on the application?
I guess I would concur with Commissioner Davidson about the ambiguity that was, at least we had that in our mind, so I would concur with his.
So we have several options. We can just reject the application, or we can remand it back to the planning and zoning and have for further discussion amongst planning and zoning. What's the wishes of the board?
Mr. Chair, I think, as you say, the options are we could deny it right now for simply just being not in conformance with code. I think, though, that perhaps a wiser move would be to remand this back to our planning and zoning committee to examine whether or not, in their opinion, the Pasculi's property fits the definition of winery or not. This was kind of a new issue that arose during the hearing, and it may not have been fully vetted. So I will go ahead and make a motion to remand this application back to the Planning and Zoning Department to examine the specific issue of whether or not this property constitutes a winery under the ordinance, and whether the application should be granted pursuant to that. Again, that's making the motion to remand application number 202-201-404-A, Pisculi, Johnston, Stone, Friends of Eagle, Altenberg, Brown, back to the Planning and Zoning Commission for reconsideration.
Can I make a clarification? So if you remand it back, you probably want just P and Z to provide you with a recommendation back to you for you to make a final decision on this appeal?
Yes, and at least from my perspective, and the only issue that should be up is the issue that was discussed here, and whether there's some resolution that could be provided as well.
That's, I just want to make sure it was clear. You're just asking P and Z to provide you with they're going to have a public hearing on the winery definition issue, provide you with a recommendation.
And whether there's a solution. I mean, we don't know any of that, but whether it could be a solution, and we'd because I think from the record, it appears that issue wasn't brought up at the planning and zoning.
Very good. I just wanted to make sure I knew what your avenue was. So it's a recommendation back to you.
Yes.
All right. And a clarification, they will have a public hearing.
They will have a public hearing, and
On just that issue alone.
I think then you'll have just so everybody's in the audience, we'll just notice up a new public hearing for when it comes back to you.
Yes.
So people can testify on what P and Z's recommendation is. Exactly. Very good.
All right, well, we have a motion, a second.
I second the motion.
Yeah, second the motion, so all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. We'll now take up resolutions. We have 4 resolutions, and I will open the public hearing on resolution number 2841. Is there discussion? Or is there recommendation? Okay, go ahead.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Before you this morning is Resolution 2841. It's to sell a personal property owned by Ada County. This is items from our marketplace that were not able to get reallocated, so we're looking to auction these items off.
Okay. Any other discussion? I'll close the public hearing on resolution number 2841. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve Resolution 2841 as listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I'll open the public hearing on resolution 2842, authorizing the sale of 250 South Beechwood Drive property, and a corresponding agreement. Okay. Is there a discussion on this resolution and agreement? Let's have Ammon give us a rundown.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is a resolution approving the purchase and sale agreement for the property at 250 South Beechwood. This is property owned by the county that is no longer needed for county use. As you may recall, there was a public auction that was held. We had a highest bidder. Weren't able to consummate the transaction, and this is the other bidder that was at that auction, and we've reached an agreement for the sale of that property. So looking for your approval.
I recall it very well.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you. So this is the resolution authorizing the sale, and it's an agreement, the purchase and sale agreement. Okay, I reviewed all the documents. I'll close the public hearing on resolution number 2842. Is there further discussion from the board?
Well, Mr. Chair, we're certainly happy that we're able to offer this property for sale, and the proceeds of that are helping to fund the new drug court building on Elder. It took a little while for us to get to this spot. We had a public auction that we thought we had a winner, but they backed out, so we appreciate everyone's work getting this to market and getting a buyer. So I will move to approve resolution number 2842 and agreement number 15170 as listed on the agenda, and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, I'll open a public hearing on resolution number 2843, a resolution providing for the sale of 3 excess county vehicles. Bob?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is a resolution for the sale of 3 vehicles. Our fleet manager for Ada County recommends selling these vehicles to start right-sizing our fleet. So the recommendation would be to approve this resolution so we can auction them.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing on resolution number 2843 and accept a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve Resolution 2843 as listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we have before the board resolution number 2844. I will open the public hearing on resolution 2844. A resolution for sole source procurement of Markham Group, SharePoint migration and professional services contract.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, before you this morning is a sole source resolution for Markham Professional Services. The Information Technology Group uses this Markham services for their SharePoint migration. And they've been using Markham for quite some time and would like to continue that relationship for this particular service.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing on resolution number 2844, and I'll accept a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve resolution number 2844 as listed on the agenda.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. We now have a couple of proclamations that we want to pass, and the first one is a proclamation on,
Let's do procurement month first. How about?
can you read the proclamation?
Yes, Mr. Chair. And this is a proclamation on behalf of the Board of Commissioners to designate the month of March 2023 as Procurement Month. Whereas the public procurement profession plays a significant role in the efficiency and effectiveness of both government and business, and whereas procurement professionals, through their combined procurement power, spend billions of dollars every year and have a significant influence upon the economic conditions throughout the world. And whereas governmental procurement professionals contribute positively to public agencies and services by improving procurement methods and practices and by utilizing new technologies to increase efficiency and improve processes. And whereas Ada County Procurement, the Idaho Public Purchasing Association, and other public professional procurement associations throughout the world engage in special efforts during the month of March to inform the public about the importance of the role played by the procurement professionals in business, industry, and government. And whereas the staff of Ada County Procurement do an exemplary job of evaluating the process under which fair and competitive bidding occurs. And whereas training, networking, certification, and continuing education of the procurement staff ensure that the public is well served with a process of fairness in all aspects. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Ada County Commissioners, Boise, Idaho, do hereby recognize public procurement for its impact on governmental purchasing in Idaho and proclaim March 2023 in Ada County as Procurement Month. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion?
Well, we'd love to hear from Bob in our procurement department for
right.
who this proclamation is directed towards.
Thank you, Commissioners, for the proclamation. And in as much as it's a recognition of Procurement Month, it's really a recognition of my outstanding staff. They do a wonderful job in making sure that all of our processes are accountable and done so with the highest integrity. And they're always continually trying to make themselves more professional by training, by certification, And so I just really appreciate everything that they do and everything they've done for the profession.
Well, we're really, really proud of your department and the great work you do. If everybody doesn't know, you've won awards. Your department has won awards for service in procurement, which is pretty impressive.
You got any room left in your trophy case?
We'll have to get a bigger trophy
You have to
case.
get a bigger trophy case, okay. All right, well, thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Commissioners.
All right, I'll accept the motion on the proclamation.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the proclamation as listed on the agenda and designate March 2023 as Procurement Month.
And I'll second that.
Thank you. You've heard the motion, all in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. We have another proclamation up. Would Commissioner Daley like to read that one?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think this is Women's History Month, March 2023. And I think the history of women in both in our community as well as the state of Idaho deserves this proclamation. So it's, whereas the leadership, achievement, courage, and strength of all Idaho women make Ada County a stronger and more vibrant community, and whereas many of the great leaders in county government are able to share their gifts and talents due to the trailblazers who paved the way before them, and whereas women have led by example, inspiring both men and women to pursue leadership positions, ensuring that all communities are equally represented, and whereas Ada County continues to thrive and prosper due to the great achievements made by women and men who encourage and support them, and now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Ada County Commissioners does hereby proclaim March 2023 as Women's History Month. And I think, as I said, anybody who's been involved in any organization knows that the women are the primary movers of any organization that we have.
Absolutely. We even got a wall out there recognizing the first women to be county commissioner, be judges and all that. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to it?
Well, I'll go ahead and single out our office manager, Judy Morris, and Annie Doom, and of course our communications person, Elizabeth Duncan, who are just so fantastic to work with and keep our office running smooth and keep us in line.
Well, don't forget our scheduler, Hannah.
And of course, Anna. Thank you for pointing that one out, too.
Yes. All right. Yeah, so we're going to declare March as Women's History Month.
And Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve the proclamation as listed on the agenda and designate March 2023 as Women's History Month.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
We're going to do pictures with procurement with the proclamation, or?
You want to do pictures?
All right.
All right.
Chairman, come on up.
Do we have Elizabeth here to take the pictures, or?
Pause the record while we do that.
Yeah, pause the record. Well, we can go down front there.
If we don't, Elizabeth will yell at us.
All right, we don't want that. Okay.
Okay. That's not too hard.
Okay. There you go. Proclamation. March's proclamation.
Everybody?
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks, Bob.
Everybody here wants to take a picture for the Women's Proclamation Month.
You and me. And Bethany. I'm just.
All right. Okay, we're back on the record, Ann. Okay, inasmuch as we just designated the March the procurement month, we're gonna go to procurement right now. We're gonna open bid number 23029, Ada County Courthouse Roof Section 1A, 2A, 4A, 4B, 5A, replacement.
Yes, Mr. Chairman,
ahead.
Commissioners. Good morning. Ada County Procurement received 2 responses for bid 23029, the Ada County Courthouse Roof Section 1A, 2A, 4A, 4B, and 5A replacement 2023. Robin has those bids queued up on our e-procurement system. If you're ready for us to open, we'll proceed.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, this morning we'll be looking for the name of the bidder, the bid amount. There'll be a $30,000 contingency allowance in that bid amount. And when Robin pulls this up, it should be an Excel spreadsheet with both of the bidders. Okay. So our first bidder is Signature Roofing, and they have a total bid amount of $448,700. Our second bidder is Upson Company, and they have a total bid amount of $617,910. Those are our 2 bidders, and we would like to request that this be tabled for award to the March 14th, 2023 open business meeting.
Okay, I'll accept the motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to table the award of bid 23029, Ada County Courthouse Roof Section 1A, 2A, 4A, 4B, and 5A replacement 2023 to March 14th, 2023.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Commissioners.
Okay, next up, we have licenses. We have 3 catering permits, 2 new licenses, one license transfer, and 43 renewals. Any questions or a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the licenses as listed on the agenda, including the 3 catering permits, the 2 new licenses, 2 license transfers, and 43 license renewals, and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
Second.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have a clerk's office with a termination agreement. You want to tell us about that, sir?
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, this is what we've discussed previously in legal staff about the termination of this agreement, the support agreement for our HCM Oracle software. We have reached out and have served that termination to the contractor. I've spoken personally with the CEO. We parted on good terms. He understood the conditions that we needed to move forward with a different contractor to help us through the end of this fiscal year with our new ERP implementation. So I think all is in order. I believe this is simply a ratification of the agreement that we've already done.
Well, I hope so. And this is going to contribute to us coming in on time with our ERP, correct?
It'll help with the timeline. More importantly, it saved us some money in the short
Well,
term.
that's the combination.
Yeah.
Combination. Okay, I guess we need a motion.
Okay, I have just a clarification, and I think you stated this, but just to make sure. the transition is going to be smooth as you described, correct?
I believe it will be. Again, the transition is ahead of us, so we'll see how that happens. But they will remain on contract for the next 30 days because the CEO parted, I think, on good terms. I don't anticipate any problems with that transition. Our new contractor, Mythix, is a great partner, and they're willing to work with us and keep us afloat until we can get the whole system up and running at the end of this year.
Mr. Chairman, I move to authorize the clerk's office to terminate agreement 14232 as listed on the agenda.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, you've heard the motion, and it's the county that is terminating the contract. And all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Right?
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Next up, the staffing pilot proposal. I don't know how much you want to get into that, but you're welcome to.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We've been through this and had multiple conversations on it. Again, it's my appeal to the commission to support this small staffing pilot program that we've come up with. I believe it's going to address many of the pain points that we have in the county. I also think it addresses the changes in the labor market and the labor force that we're seeing. We have to think outside of the box to recruit more qualified candidates for our vacancies, of which you know we have a number of them in the county. And I also want to retain our best employees, the most experienced employees that we have. I believe this small pilot program will give us the data to show that this might be a viable option going forward. Again, it is not a permanent ask of the board to change any policy ongoing forward, just permission to start this pilot program and see if the data from it over a 6-month period proves out that we can actually attract more qualified candidates for our vacancies, retain our employees, address some of the burnout issues we have with some of our employees, and increase their mental and physical health. So that's what I'm asking for the board to support.
Okay, I thank you. We have vetted it out fairly thoroughly, I think. Thank you. You've done an excellent job in providing all the information. What's the pleasure of the board? Is there further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to thank the clerk for exploring options, because I think that's the dynamics of the world we live in are important, exploring those options. So I appreciate the fact that he's doing that. I would encourage him to continue to do that, and then all the other employees of the county as well, to do that and search for ways. But at this point in time, I don't know that this is my feeling that it's appropriate for this to move forward at this point. But
Well, I will echo that. Thank you for that. I do appreciate your concerted effort, and I would ask you to keep looking for ways that we can, because as you've used my language, we have to think outside the box, not only in the clerk's office, but throughout the whole of Ada County with our almost 2,000 employees, because we live in a very competitive world, no question about that. And we've always wanted to. It's been my goal and my objective from the get-go that we provide the best government possible for the least amount of taxpayers' money, and I think we've done that. But I concur with Commissioner Daley that I don't think this is the time for this proposal, but I want you to keep looking outside the box, and you can rest assured that this commission will consider every proposal, from not just from you, but from our other departments and for our other elected officials to make sure that we can continue to provide service to the community. Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. Well, I did like the proposal, and I would say I'm supportive of the idea of a 32-hour work week. Looked over the information, and I think you've made a compelling case. There was obviously, with any major change, there's going to be issues to be worked through, and our legal, brought several to our attentions. Issues came up with the board when we were discussing after your initial presentations. But I am a fan of trying new things in government. I think that if we don't innovate, we're going to lose our ability to recruit new people, as you say. I think, though, that, I mean, my preference would be that you continue to research this issue. And this is something that's being tried in the corporate world. Haven't seen a lot of cases of this being used in the government world yet. But I know that over the next year, probably the next couple of years, we're going to see more and more governments experimenting with this. And maybe we'll have some more examples or test cases of this being used in the government realm that will make it easier for the board and our legal to be less nervous about it. So my advice would be to continue to do research, continue to talk with other elected officials and department heads about their employment practices, what they would like to see in the future. Because one of the issues that came up was, perhaps treating one class of employees different than others. I think you should keep looking for solutions to some of those concerns. It might even be, one suggestion I had was if we are going to do a pilot program, maybe it should be in a small department where the entire department could do this all at the same time as opposed to a couple from one department. That was an issue that I brought up. But for me personally, I would encourage you to continue to do your research and bring this back to the board. And, if you have more data in 6 months or a year, and we'll see what the landscape is at that point.
I appreciate that very much.
All right. Do we need a motion on this? I'd ask her. No, we don't. Okay, do you have anything else for us from your office?
Yes, Mr. Chair, it's kind of the perfect storm right now in our office. We have an election going on next week with the CUNA School Board. We're developing the budget, as you're well aware, as well as the legislature is in session, and they are having a lot of different proposals that will directly affect the clerk's office. So we are engaged significantly with the legislature. I also have 2 additions to our office. I would like to introduce today Heath Rabordi is our new Assistant Chief Deputy Clerk. We stole him from Brandon Wolf at the State Controller's Office. We
Good job.
made an offer he couldn't refuse. We're excited for him to be part of the team. I also have a new HR generalist that we stole from Boise State. Emily Burns, I think, is in the back. This is her second day. She's on the ground sprinting, so we're excited to have her on board. So that's all I have from the clerk's office. Mr.
I did
Chair.
have a question for you.
Yeah.
The legislature is contemplating removing the March and August election dates. Do you think that will work, or have you heard anything about that?
I guess there's lots of views on that, Mr. Chairman. It would be wonderful not to have to carry out a March and August election. From our standpoint, it would save money. But I'm sure there's other interests involved with the March and August elections that I can't necessarily speak to.
Right. Now,
School boards are obviously very interested in maintaining those. And
Well, those 2 are exclusively for the education, is that not correct?
that's correct. Well, yes, that's correct.
And so they're not a general type of an election. They're just strictly for education purposes. And so, well, we'll have to dig into that.
I know the legislators weighing different things of providing property tax relief to the citizens in the form of taking up some of that pressure from those school bonds that are passed in March and August often. And in return, they're asking for the reduction of those elections, given that if they're providing support for school buildings and other things that they don't necessarily need these elections to carry out these bond measures. Now, schools can carry bonds and levies on other elections. They just choose generally to go after the March and August elections.
Okay, anything else? Any other questions of our, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have a claims journal. I'll accept a motion on the claims journal.
Mr. Chairman, I move to authorize payment of the claims on the Claims Journal dated March 3rd, 2023.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Right?
Aye.
We have personnel actions. We have 3 automated grade step progressions from the sheriff's pay plan. Changes in 7K status, 1 conditional pay increase, 3 grade or ladder changes, internal recruitment, position changes, promotions, and 21 special salary adjustments. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the personnel actions as listed on the agenda and that the summary sheet remain on file in the Commissioner's office.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 We are privileged to have with us the Deputy Assessor.
Good morning, Mr.
You have some
Chairman
good
and
news for us.
Commissioners. Yeah, the good news is there's no tax cancellations,
Oh,
so that's the good news. I know.
you're
Beth-
going to have our treasurer disappointed.
Yeah, she's. They can actually do their regular work this week. So.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so nothing there. I would like to put some words out there for Trent and his team. I think what he's doing for the county and looking for options, I really support that and appreciate his effort that he's put in. I haven't heard all the details about it, but I do think our employees here at Ada County do deserve us looking outside the box and coming from a different angle. And I think Ada County can be we're the state of Ada. I think we can lead the pack, and I appreciate his team looking at different options.
We
for
are the
employees.
great state of Ada.
The great state of Ada. There we go. So I just want to throw that out there.
Okay, thank
But in regards to our office, right now we're processing property tax reductions, which is a great program for the elderly, 65 and older, low income. We've processed about 1,700 so far. Last year, we had about 4,500 that we received all the way through. The deadline isn't until April 18th, so we do have some time, and a lot of those do come in the final weeks. And other than that, we're gearing up for assessment notices. We'll be sending out, over 220,000 notices. So the trend right now, we're seeing residential will probably be going down and commercial will be going up. So right now, the numbers are still pretty rough, but that's kind of overall what we're seeing. So that's about it with the assessor's office.
Okay, any questions of the assessor's office? Hearing none, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we have next, Mr. Rich Riffle, the coroner's office. Thank you, Rich, we appreciate you coming to our open business meeting. You're always welcome.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I sent a report to you, your offices, thank you, yesterday, and I just want to touch on the highlights first of all.
Sure.
I'm going to try to send you, the commission, that's a similar report like that every month, in case I can't be here. I want to make it abundantly clear, this is not all the activity that we do, it's just merely a snapshot of some of the things that are important that I've heard past couple of months that I know you guys are interested in. Looking at the numbers as I crunched them here, I think we're right on track compared to previous years with our activity levels and testing and those kinds of things. We've come in and you'll see you'll start seeing a slight dip in the numbers of autopsies, for example, and caseloads. It's because when I came in, I started asking questions like, why do you do that? And they said, we don't know. I says, well, then quit doing it. So it's more efficient. We're getting more efficient in the operations. And then, of course, that saves money in the long run. But some of the highlights of the what I would consider not the business, but just the inner workings of the office, as opposed to autopsies and case investigations. And I'm just going to highlight just a few of these because it's a rather lengthy list. Our mass fatality plan is progressing. It's almost completed, so that's a great thing. We're looking at network, the network shared drive is being reviewed. I noticed there's a lot of stuff in that that's kind of old and needs to be archived and moved out, cleaned out, kind of make it easier for folks to find stuff when they're going into the shared drive. Have a few work with the prosecutor's office. We've got several outstanding issues that I'm looking into. One of them is the records retention. We've got boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of old case files, and I'm scratching my head, so why the heck do we, this is the 21st century, for crying out loud. So I haven't heard back if we can at least digitize those and then purge the hard copies. We're also looking into when we go to a scene, if we have the authority to seize prescription medications. In the case of an investigation, that's one thing, but then we also have our non-jurisdictional cases that we look at. We go to a scene, we decide, well, we don't need an autopsy, so it's more like a natural, or another doctor's gonna sign the certificate, but then we're standing there looking at prescription meds. So we're looking at, can we seize those for destruction? Takes them out of the market, so to speak. Not that that's a big issue, but it is an issue that, for me.
Would you need legislation to do that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Like I said, right now it's in the process. We just draft up a policy. We'll send it to the prosecutor's office and they'll say yes or no.
Okay.
So
That'd just be for like narcotic medications or? all
anything
that?
with a prescription other than like ointments and those kind of things. But right now, if it's got your name on it, we're going to take it. One of several reasons is, although you need intent for a family member to use it, someone else's prescriptions, it's my feeling that in the state of Idaho, like it was where I came from in Oregon, it's illegal for anybody to possess someone else's prescription. So if I leave it there, then in my mind, I'm essentially creating a crime. I know the prosecutor disagrees because there has to be intent behind, the new possessor of that. But I just think it's a cleaner operation. Just if we seize it, it becomes a non-issue, then we mark it for immediate destruction.
Okay.
Other than that, our out-of-county agreement audit is underway. There was just a couple of questions that were sent to us just yesterday. And I look forward to that being done here pretty darn soon because we got to get working on those contracts and setting people up for, if there's an increase or decrease, whatever it is, whatever the outcome, we can start working on those sooner rather than later. So, and like I say, you gentlemen have the complete list. Like I said, I don't want to take up your time reading the whole darn thing, so if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. And look forward to sending you more of these reports so you can at least know what the heck we're doing over there and that,
Well, we appreciate it.
yeah, no worries.
Appreciate it. You're always welcome on our open business meeting. Just let us know, and we'll put you on the agenda just like we do now. And we do like hearing from you, and we appreciate. How is your? I guess you've got all the office figured out. You've been there now 2 months, a little over 2 months, and so great. Everything's going well, and
Everything's going fantastic. It's going a lot better than I had anticipated. I can't tell you how great the staff is. I mean, words can't express it. I've got their back, they've got mine. We're working together, and things are going smoothly. A lot of the transition piece is more of not what's being done, but how it's being done.
sure.
I'm empowering our management staff to do their job. Within the first couple of days, I had to tell supervisors, well, it's supervised, it's in the name. So, don't ask me,
Supervised.
yeah, so, and they seem to be genuinely appreciative of that because, that's what they were hired or promoted to do.
Sure.
So I'm not a micromanager, so I just oversee and kind of nudge them when I feel like I need to, so.
You're getting excited to move into your new quarters.
Yeah, well, yeah. They keep moving the date, so it's
Ah,
kinda,
yeah, I saw that,
it's like,
yeah.
okay, whatever. I'll believe it when I'm parking in the new spot, but
Well, we'll have a ribbon cutting for you.
there we go. Look forward
right.
to it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
sir. All right, thank you. Okay, we have with us our distinguished treasurer,
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning.
Thank you.
Hi. Just to the coroner's point, I would emphasize that from our perspective, the transition is going well. We met, the coroner and I and our staff early on to discuss public administration, which, as you're aware, is a growing part of our business in the treasurer's office. It was great so early on to get our staff together to talk about best practices and how we were handling some of these prescription pickups. So it's been great working with him. Other than that, it's business as usual in the treasurer's office, which is nice. No tax cancellations this week, so we're able to focus on our regular duties this week, mostly month-end, reconciling all of the county's bank accounts. And then like the other offices, we're tracking legislation, particularly those that impact investments and tax deferral and late charge and interest. So weighing in where we can, working with IAC and our legislative committee. So that's it from our office this week.
Okay, any questions of our distinguished treasurer? Okay. Nope, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, we have next up the approval of minutes. I'll accept a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes as identified on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we have weed and pest. Do we need a motion on this? Yes, all right. This is a weed and pest, a noxious weed notice. I'll accept a motion.
Mr. Chair, this is I think the complete list of weeds that have been determined to be noxious in Ada County. And I'll move to authorize the chair to sign the 2023 noxious weed notice on behalf of the board.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, you heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now, next up, we have 9 agreements. I've read through the agreements. They seem well acceptable to me. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the 9 agreements as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the appropriate documents on behalf of the board.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have a miscellaneous item. It's a quitclaim deed addressing a gap issue at the Ada County Jail site, including the acquisition from Darigold. Ammon, would you like to explain that to us a little bit more? This is the gift keeps on giving.
Yes, happy to, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. As you know, we've recently acquired property over adjacent to the jail site from Darigold. In going through due diligence with that acquisition and working with the title company, we identified a gap that existed between the two properties, the one that we owned and the one we were acquiring, that went back in the chain of title quite a ways. In fact, on the Ada County side, there was a legal description created back in the 70s that missed the little sliver. So we explored options with the title company, talked a little bit about quiet title, then also about the quick claim option. In discussing with them, our recommendation is to execute this quick claim and record it. Essentially what that'll do is create a legal description and a deed in the record that covers the entire area, the consolidated parcel, and includes this little sliver that wasn't in the legal description initially, but since we have property on both sides of it, the use has been open and notorious. There's no other claimant to this piece or taxes that have been paid. Title's comfortable with taking that approach, and that would take care of any issue with down the line transfers or issuances of policies on that property. So,
All right, well, thank you. I'll accept the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to authorize the chair to sign the quitclaim deed addressing the gap issue at the Ada County Jail site.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carries. Is there any other issues that need to be brought before the board? Hearing none, we are in recess. Thank you. Okay, good morning. The Board of Commissioners, sitting as a Board of Emergency Medical Services District, is in session to conduct its weekly open business meeting. All three commissioners are present. Madam Clerk, are there changes to the agenda?
No, there are not.
Okay. First item on the business, on the order is the Claims Journal. I'll accept a motion on the Claims Journal.
Mr. Chairman, I move to authorize payment of the claims as listed on the Claims Journal dated March 3rd, 2023 regarding EMS expenditures.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. We have personnel actions.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the personnel actions as listed on the agenda and that the summary sheet remain on file in the Commissioner's office.
I second the motion.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Okay, next up, we have grants. We have two grants. Would you like to give us a brief overview of the grants? And
Yes, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, good morning. As this board well knows, our budget is tight. Every year, we've really focused our efforts on personnel. And there were a few things that we were not able to put into this year's budget. One of those was ventilators, and so that's grant number 2304-A. This is a grant that actually comes from FEMA through the Assistance to Firefighters grant program, even though we're technically not firefighters. But there's a small portion of those funds that are set aside for EMS-only agencies. The ventilators that we have currently are nearing their end of life, and so we are looking for a solution. You can see they're fairly expensive, and we don't know how good of a shot we're going to have at getting this grant, but we thought it was worth putting in for that. That one does have a match of $38,948.24. The grant itself is $428,430.60. So that's that one. The first grant, 2303-A, is a grant through the Idaho Healthcare Coalition to get us a pediatric patient simulator. So much like we have a full adult sim man right now that blinks, does everything, we can look at EKGs and really practice. And we also have an infant, but we don't have a child. So we're pursuing that grant to see if we can get a child to, if you will, complete our sim family. So those are the two grants.
Okay, any questions? Okay, we'll need a motion on the grant number 2303A. I'll accept the motion.
You're going to do both of them at the same time or one?
Ken? We can do both of them at the same time. Grant number 2304A.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve grant numbers 2303A and 2304A and authorize the online completion and submission of the grants by Sean Rain, Director of EMS, and authorize the chair to sign the appropriate documents on behalf of the board.
Okay, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we get an EMS update.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So I'll start off with the number. We're at 4.5. We've been sitting at 4.5 ILI patients a day for quite a while now. It's just interesting when you look back through the data all the way to March of 2020, you see these spikes, and we'll continue to see those. Did have a conversation with Bethany. We have some of our COVID testing kits are about to expire. I've got my team researching because there's likely an extension on those, so we can keep those and use those for some time. Yesterday morning, we had 12 brand-new employees starting an academy. I was happy to stand in front of them and tell them about the department. Really happy to have those folks with us. Previous to that, we did hire 5 of our reserve employees, our reserve volunteers as full-time employees. So that leaves us with 1 vacancy currently. So happy to have those folks here with us. Beyond that, the SCR is kind of stalled, but I think it's because the the House is trying to get a lot of House bills through the committee right now to be able to transmit them over to the Senate. So once that deadline comes up, I think we'll see our SCR come up. Outside of that, nothing new to report on the GMT program. It's just going through the process.
Okay, any questions? Any discussion? Well, thanks, John. Appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
Appreciate your work. And without any, if there's nothing else on to discuss, we're in recess.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.